Alright, now that I finished the explanation, I know it's been pretty long, but at least you have it there. I'd like to do a video on some of the other components that are involved in controlling the transmission, and I'll do a few comparisons as well. I know the other, the explanations video, the explanation videos were kind of long, but like I say, too much information is better than too little. You can just skip forward whatever you want, and at least it's just a really detailed, complete explanation of the Overdrive, something that I haven't seen even a little bit of detail out there. Even the manual is kind of, by the way, on the manual, before I get into the extra videos, sorry, the other components, I'd just like to show you that when it says in the manual, it says, it says to let me actually find it here. Page. First page. On page 4. It says propeller shaft on some parts, and then some place it says output shaft, drive shaft. They all mean the same thing. Propeller shaft, drive line, and output shaft, they all mean the same thing. Okay? I just used output shaft because it's just the one that makes sense. It's actually the shaft, whereas the drive shaft is actually that long piece of pipe, basically. It's not actually part of the transmission. Okay? I just like to make that distinction. Drive shaft and output shaft, those are the words I use. But now, they make a significant error here. And that really confused me. It probably confuses anybody else trying to read the manual out there. It says in reading operating principles, it's page 4, under 10B. So it's just about here. Okay. It says that the sun gear may turn forward, stand still, or turn backward, depending solely upon the relative speeds of the transmission, the main shaft and the output shaft. That's what I was saying before, remember? The input shaft is turning slower than the output shaft, so that the engine is turning slower than the car. And the output shaft overruns the pinion gears and causes the sun gear to turn in one direction. So it's not really backward or forward. Those are the worst terms I've ever seen. It's a really grave, really bad error that they messed up. They really fucked up here. It's clockwise or counterclockwise. Okay? A spinning gear doesn't turn forward or backward. No. What's forward? Forward, backward relative to what? So it's clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on the line of sight. Okay. So it's basically what I showed you guys here. Right? Or it will stand still. I just forgot to mention that as well. It will stand still if they're all moving in exactly the same speed. So now that I got that cleared off. There's a solenoid. Let's start with the solenoid. There's a solenoid which is just an electromagnet that pushes, it's got a shaft that goes in and out. Pushes in, pushes out, just like that. Okay, it pulls back when you release the electricity. It's the spring that pulls it back. Okay. Here's the solenoid of the other 10 transmission. This is pretty much the most common one. It was made by Delco Remy. It's got 2 terminals labeled 4 and 6. And I do show you how to test this, how to wire this in a separate video. Okay. But basically one wires from relay, the other one is from the governor switch. Now this other song line that I found that came with this other T96, it's got 3 terminals on it and it's a lot shorter. See there? The one that you see on the left is the most common one. This one is the, see there's 1, 2, 3 terminals. This one apparently is a little more rare. I'm not sure on the voltage, by the way. This one's just got 2 terminals, nice and clean. I've seen lots of ones like these, but as you can see, the shafts are the same length exactly. So, you know, it doesn't really matter which one you use. I'll do a wiring video on these, a separate video. Let me just clean this up so that I can find you a part number or a manufacturer number as well. Once I clean this up with these, it will come out really easily. I wasn't planning to show you guys the part number, but I might as well show it to you guys. Part number for this one is 1119985. Part number on the other one is 1118132. So apparently perhaps the first 3 numbers are all the same. I'm sure both of them start with 111. It's probably also manufactured by Delco Remy, but I'll just clean up and make sure. Delco Remy as well. Okay. Just the lengths of them are shorter. I actually like the shorter one. I mean, the shorter one is probably more convenient. Smaller, it's also a little bit lighter. Hole patterns are the same, but obviously everything else is just the same. Everything is the same. Aside. Not sure why one has 2 terminals, the other one has 3. Not sure. Now I know what I'm pretty certain is that the other terminal, on one of the terminals, what it does, it opens a point, which probably temporarily close, which turns off the ignition. I'll explain to you why in just a second. Here are the governors. These 2 are the Bendix governors. They are the same. As you can see, they're made with the material that I most hate in the universe. Fucking plastic. This material I also don't like. It's not actually a metal, it's a semi-metal. But, you know, since it's really thick, it's not that bad. But I really don't like the fucking plastic. The internals on this one are completely fucked up, but like I showed you guys in the other videos, you can see it's broken already. That's because it's plastic. Plastic's fucking garbage. Apparently if you move these screws, these bolts here, and it fucks everything up. You know, you see on this one the wire terminal is broken because it's a stupid rivet. It's just not good compared to the other one that I'm going to show you in a second. Right, and you can see the internals, how it looks inside of the other video. Haven't opened this one up yet, but the internals should be the same, but hopefully they're good so that I can use, you know, I have 2 transmissions, so obviously I need 2 of these governors. And they are made, like I said, they're made by Bendix Products Division, Bendix, South Bend. Okay. What they have is they have a gear at one end, and it's attached to the transmission output, so the transmission turns this as well as the car. Inside here there's a set of weights, and they're held together, and you know they open apart depending on the speed. Okay, this little gear does move up and down. There's a bit of play on it. It's normal. There is a little bit of a ring that holds them together, and it's not really the best rings in the world, but the gears are pretty good. Now there is an O-ring around it, by the way. So, okay, there it is. See the threads on the other one, they're a little bit broken as well. I can still use it, no problem, but you can see they're kind of damaged. I don't know why. It's just because it's not a good material, guys. It's called antimony. It's sort of it's not aluminum. It's weaker than aluminum. It's just sort of like lead. That's the closest metal that I think I can describe it. A mixture between lead and plastic. No, it's not a good material. Now that I showed you guys those 2, I'll show you guys the real one. This is the real one, guys, and this is also made by Borg Warner. This is the one. As you can see, cast iron or cast steel body. Same gear. The gears are interchangeable between them. They're all the same. The threads are the same. It's cast iron, a lot better. There's holes here for the threads. The bolts can actually go all the way in. It does allow you to use, you know, threads of bolts of any size, but it does expose the threads. So, you know, it's the other. I personally would prefer to have it closed here, so that the threads aren't exposed. But then you could only use the certain size bolt, right? The cap is also made of steel. As you can see, you know, it's pretty darn good. There's no fucking plastic. The terminal on it is also 10 times better. Instead of a little piece of shit rivet with a floppy little, you know, tab, it's actually a brass, sort of like a little tower. So the motherfucker zooms in. And surprisingly, these are actually more common. I bought this from eBay. It's actually more common. Sorry, I've seen it on eBay. I've seen lots of these on eBay, whereas the other crappy ones, there's only a few of them. Come on, will you zoom in? God damn, you gotta be fucking kidding. Just stand in front of it like that. Maybe it needs more light. I don't fucking know. Zoom in, you fucking bastard. God damn. Okay guys, looks like it's not happening. Oh, okay, hang on, let me try it this way. There we go. That's better. Okay. Made in the USA also, but like as you've seen, they also made sort of garbage in the USA. Now that's nothing compared to modern stuff. Even that other one, it's Okay, and as you can see, there's 4 bolts that hold the cap. I'll just remove them so that you can see the interior. Oops, they're a little too tight. Give me a minute. Once again, on all these governors, points are normally open. Okay, there's 2 contact points, a set of contact points. They're not touching. Okay, you only touch when you get to sufficient speed, and that rotation forces the weights to open, to move outward, to push the contact points together, which then allows electricity to flow. The only thing I could perhaps criticize on this governor is that the internal is a little bit more complex, but at the same time it's a lot stronger than the other one. But the other one is made of brass, so I don't know, has a bit of room for improvement, but this is more than enough. Okay. Just talking about my standard. As you can see, the contact points are a lot simpler. There's a little gasket just to keep the dirt out. Contact points are a lot simpler, a lot stronger. There's a little spring. There's a little U-shaped, piece here, this little piece. They're also a lot simpler, just straight little pieces. There's actually 2 rivets that hold the contact point together. So, this is indestructible. There's how it looks on the inside. Now, as you can see here, it sort of works in the reverse. On the other one, on the Bendix, the points are normally spread apart, and they only touch when this point here on the other one moves up and push them together. Here it's sort of the reverse. The point here, this pivot here, it's already standing up, which is separating the points. So when you open the cap, the points are actually touching. When you put the cap back on, you can hear a little click, which is the points being separated. Listen to that. Hear that? Okay. Very well built, very simple, very user friendly. This one is 100 times better than that Bendix garbage. Like I said, guys, once again, when I'm calling it garbage, it's modern stuff out of the equation. Okay, that thing is like Cadillac compared to a scooter. It's compared to modern things. But this one, oh, this is the king. Look at how thick this wall is. Cast iron. Now, the way that, as I was saying, so back to the explanation. The points actually open when this moves in. So, the points close when this moves in. So the weights, actually, I'm not really sure what this looks like inside. So it is apparently a little more complex, perhaps, but it just is the reverse. When you reach a certain speed, instead of this moving out like the other one, it actually moves in. But it does the same thing, and they are interchangeable. Now, the other thing that I'd like to talk about is, obviously different cars, they have different rotational speeds on the engines. So, some cars may idle at 1,500 RPM. Other cars, and by the way, this cap, it doesn't matter which way you put it, because the points are at the center. So as I was saying, some cars, idle at 3,000 RPM. And I've seen a car, I think it's a Mustang, it goes up to like 7,000 RPM. That's extremely high, In my case, the Rambler American, it's idle, is at 500 RPMs. That's really, really low. Okay. That's why it's really quiet. Really quiet. Nice sound. Now, with the difference in RPMs, obviously in other things like the engine size, the size of the flywheel and all that, what also changes is, and obviously the weight of the car as well, what changes is the required acceleration to be able to change between gears, okay? So basically a truck, big, those bigger truck or a heavy car, it has to accelerate more to change gears, correctly. Lighter cars, for example, you're able to start them in second gear. I can start the Rambler in second gear. It's a nice, flat, even road. Start in first gear. If it's a big, heavy car, well, that might not be possible. Okay, where in order to do that, the RPMs of the engine might be higher. Okay, so there are differences between these governors. Some of them operate, have heavier weights, so that they open, maybe at 30 miles per hour. Sorry, in terms of the rotations, right? All of them operate at the same speed pretty much, okay? Because all the cars, they used to have 3 speeds. Well, they used to be a little bit different perhaps, but they're all close to the same, okay? So third would be direct drive. All of them used to be direct drive in third, which is 1-to-1 ratio. And then they would maybe small differences, variations. First gear, for example, first gear for one car would be 1 to 3.1, or for another would be 1 to 2.9, or something like that. Okay, you get the point. So, there's different weights in these governors. Which to you, what that means is, depending on what governor you put in, you might need more acceleration to get to the required, speed. Turn the overdrive on. The thing is, the transmission is all the same. So, the transmissions are all the same. So it's not the velocity of the transmission, but more the velocity of the car, right? So, like I said, at idle, my Rambler will turn this at 500 RPM. Okay. Other cars will turn it 1,000 RPM. So if you have a light weight for that car, then the governor would turn on with close contact points at like 15 miles per hour. Okay, and you get bad. That's not good. It's okay if it's higher. Then you just have to accelerate more. Before you shift, you got to hit the accelerator, and then hit the press the clutch, or wait a few seconds. 2 seconds or so, then shift. That's the correct, smooth shifting. Okay. Obviously, if you don't accelerate enough, then you get clashing, right? Or, grinding of the teeth. So here's the same thing. If you put 2 heavy weights, then it's just going to take longer. You're just going to have to, accelerate much more. Just going to have to accelerate more before those contact points close and you get into overdrive. Let's say for one car, it should be like, BAM! When you're in overdrive. If you put a different governor, it's going to be like, BAM! Then you're in overdrive. If it's too light, the weights are too light, then you're going to be, see, See, I'm very expressive. But so what was really helpful was this little chart here. And guys, I found this off of the internet. It did take me a long time to find, and this is just completely amazing. It's just one page, so I'm not sure what book it's off of, but on the top here it says Warner Overdrives. Let's see. There. And as you can see, it's got lists for the relays, the overdrive, it's missing an E there, the overdrive solenoid, okay, and it's got the governor, control governor. And so what they have here is they have the model of the car, the year, and they have the part number and who manufactured it. So AL stands for Autolite, DR stands for Delco Remy, they're separated by dash. Some cars manufactured their own, like Hudson made a few of their own governors, Studebaker as well, Mercury, Ford, but most of them, Great Packard, Nash, Willys, Jeep made some of their own relays. But more importantly here, guys, here at the bottom, on the left corner, it says governor specifications. I'll just show you guys that. You see there? I'll let you look at it for a little bit. If you look it up on the internet. Okay, let's move on to end this video at half an hour. And what it says here, it gives the part number, and most of the for the Autolite actually just gives it part numbers. They are Autolite. Sometimes they use the same number for different companies. So, but more importantly, they give the part number, and they give the RPMs at which the points close. Okay, and it gives the RPMs at which the points open. The differences on most of them are 90, with the exception of two of them, which are 80 and 83. But the other ones, all 10 of them are 90, with the exception of those two. Difference between those two. So basically what you have is you look up the transmission that was supposed to be on your car, and you find what RPMs it was supposed to close and open at, right? And then you see the part number. In my case, part numbers are TGE or TGA, and apparently the TGE 406, 4006, 4013, and for anyway, give sometimes they like change part numbers or whatever. But this one here that I'm holding in my hand, it is a TGA 4005. So I'll look it up here, and it's actually here it says TGE instead of TGA. But from what I understand, they are the same thing. Not really sure, but anyways. So it says here, the TGE, assuming that it's the same as the TGA, TGE 4005, contacts close at 740. And they open at 535. Of this cast iron. Now the other one, the old one that I have, stupid Bendix. I believe the specifications for the Rambler